Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Design with Ruzbe. Continuing with CSWA practice problems, today we'll work on question 5.2. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, we need to ensure we are using the same unit of measurement in SolidWorks setting. Now, looking at this question, you can see that the 3D model is here. We have the top view, we have right view, detail B showing some dimensions related to the ribs, and we have section AA. My preference is to focus on a top view. I'm going to make a rectangle and then make the base of the geometry. And then, as a next step, I'm going to focus on these 4 ribs. So with this introduction, let's jump into SolidWorks and start modeling this part. In SolidWorks, first we need to check unit of measurement, and you can see that we have millimeter gram second as a unit of measurement. This is a correct unit of measurement, so we're good to go. Now, as I mentioned, we want to focus on the top view. So let's click on the sketch, and then I'm going to choose top plane. Now, all I need here is just a rectangle. So let's click on rectangle command, and I'm going to choose center. So I make this rectangle. Now, according to the question, the width of this rectangle is 132 millimeters. And the height of the rectangle is 64 millimeters. Also, we need fillet on the corners. So what I can do from a sketch tab, I can select fillet command. The radius of the fillet is 6 millimeters. So I change this to 6 and I select this corner, this one, and this one. Click on OK. Also, in the center of these fillets, we need a hole. So in order to make that, from the sketch, I can click on circle command and I make one hole here. Let's prevent having any sort of relationship here. Okay, so this, and this. Okay. Now, the diameter of this circle should be 6 millimeters. So I click on Smart Dimension and this size should be 6. Now, instead of selecting all these and applying 6 millimeter as a diameter, I can apply relations. So I can click on this, hold Control, click on Other Circles, and then from the Relations tab, you can simply choose Equal. And now you have all these circles shown with equal diameter. Okay, so now we have these circles, everything is good. We also need another hole in the center of the geometry. So what I can do, I can click on circle command and I make a circle here. The diameter of this circle is 24 millimeters. So I click on a Smart Dimension and this should be 24. Okay, so now I have the base of the geometry. Let's use Extruded Boss feature to make it like a 3D model. According to the right view, the thickness that we need is 5 millimeters. So I click on Feature, I click on Extrude Boss, and then here I'm going to change the thickness to 5 millimeters. Awesome. So now we have the first part of the geometry. Now, what we need in the center of the geometry, we need a boss. So what we can do, I can click on Sketch, click on the sketch, and I select the top surface. And then here I make one circle, which is the outside diameter, and that should be 32 millimeters. The inner circle is basically this edge. So whenever you want to use an edge, instead of drawing a circle or instead of drawing that geometry, you can simply go to Convert Entities. So click on it, and this command allows you to make a sketch out of current entity. So for example, in this case, I have this edge. I simply click on it and I click on OK, and SolidWorks automatically turns that edge into a sketch. Okay, so now I have the inner circle, I have the outer circle. All I need to do is to click on Feature, Extrude Boss. The height of this boss, if you look at the right view, you can see the overall height of the geometry is 18 millimeters. The height of the base is 5 millimeters. So the height of this boss should be 13 millimeters. Or you don't need to do a mental math. You can simply put 18 minus 5 and that's it. So 13 millimeters is the height of this boss. Okay. Awesome. So now we have the boss. Last step is to make the ribs. If you look at the question, you can see that there is a hint in the question. They're saying that the start ribs inside cylinder wall. Basically, the expectation here is that you make a rectangle inside the wall, extrude that, and then cut it to make it like a rib shape. However, we don't need to go and follow that approach because there is a rib command in SolidWorks which will make your life much easier. So then why we go and start making some sort of a sketch to make a rib when there is actually a rib command in SolidWorks? So we can simply use that command, and I'm going to show you how to use it. In order to use a rib command, all you need is the center line of the rib. So you need a sketch of the center line of the rib. Okay, so as you can see here, the ribs here are oriented on an angled position. So first, we need to make a plane to draw a sketch for the rib. So let's do that. In order to make a plane, you need a sketch. You need a reference sketch. So click on a sketch, and choose this top surface. Now click on line command, and then from center, just make a line. Of course, this is a construction line, so I click on it and I change it to construction geometry. Now, if you look at detail B, you can see that the angle between the rib and a horizontal line is 30 degrees. So click on the smart dimension, click on this line, click on this origin point, and then choose the right arrow. And now you can define this angle. This should be 30 degrees. Awesome. So now we have a fully defined sketch. Exit this sketch. So now we have this line as one reference. In order to make a plane, click on feature, click on reference geometry, and choose plane. Okay. In order to define a plane, you need two references. So here, for example, I can choose this sketch, and SolidWorks shows you the plane, but you can't simply click on OK. If you click on OK, you get error message because you don't have enough constraint for this plane. The second constraint, I'm going to choose this top surface. And now SolidWorks knows that we need a plane which passes through this line, and also we need that plane to be perpendicular to this pink surface. And now this plane is fully defined. Click on OK. Awesome. So now I have this plane. Simply click on a sketch, and choose this plane. So basically we are telling SolidWorks that we want to make a sketch on this plane. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that in order to use the rib command, all we need is the center line of the rib. So click on line command, and we need to draw a line. A line goes from here to here. Also, looking at detail B, you can see that the distance between this point and center point of the geometry should be 45 millimeters. So this is 45. And now we have a fully defined geometry. If I rotate this, you can see that this line is drawn on this plane. Okay, awesome. So now everything is ready. We can use rib command. In order to use rib command, you can click on feature, and then here you can see that we have rib command. Click on it. Okay, now here SolidWorks asks you for a couple of options. The thickness, of course, we want this to be symmetric, so I'm choosing both sides. And now we can see that the thickness that we need is going to be 9 millimeters. So this is 9 millimeter. Also, you can see the arrow here. This is the arrow showing that the rib should be extended in this direction, which is correct. We don't need draft angle. So that's all we need. Click on OK. And SolidWorks automatically made this for you. Now, if you want to make sure, you can click on evaluate, click on measurement, and then the distance between this line and this line, as you can see, is 9 millimeter. So now you can see that it was really easy. You don't need to make a sketch. It's just one line, and then the rib command will do the rest for you. Okay, so now it's time to make other ribs in this geometry. In order to do that, I'm going to click on feature, and then I'm going to click on circular pattern. Of course, because the angle between these features are not the same, I can't make them all at once with this command. So what I can do, I can make the other rib right in front of this rib. So in order to do that, I can click on this circle as a reference, 360 degree, that's good. I need only 2 instances, which means that the angle between the ribs gonna be 180. And then here for the feature, I simply choose rib. And now you can see the preview. Click on OK. And now I have this one. Okay, so now that I have these 2 ribs, I can simply use mirror command to make 2 other ribs. So in order to do that, from feature, click on mirror command. And then here, for the mirror face, I can choose front plane. And for the feature to mirror, I can click this on this rib and on this circular pattern. Click on OK, and you're gonna get an error. Whenever this happens, it's just happening because we want to do 2 features at the same time. You can simply click on geometry pattern and then click on OK. And that's it. So now you can see that we have everything in this model. Okay, awesome. I think that's all we need to model for this geometry. Now it's time to check the total volume and make sure that this is the correct model. Let's go back to the question and check the total volume. In the question, you can see that the total volume should be 48,824 cubic millimeters. Let's go back to our model and check the total volume for our model. In the model, in order to check the total volume, you can click on Evaluate and then Mass Properties. And here you have the answer. The total volume we found here is 48,823 cubic millimeters. If you round up this number, you're going to get exactly the same answer as shown in the question. This is showing me that my model is correct and there's no problem with it. Okay, awesome. I think that's a wrap for this video. It was a quick video. I hope you enjoyed this video. In this video, we actually use a new command, which was a rib command. So whenever you're dealing with this sort of geometry and you need to make a rib, just remember that you can just make a 2D sketch of the center line of the rib and then use that to make the final geometry. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. My name is Ruzbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.